Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating about human behavior. We're going to follow the daily routine of a guy named Alex. Now, Alex is pretty much just like you and me, right? He wants to eat a little healthier, maybe save some cash, and just feel a bit less stressed out. But despite his best intentions, he almost always finds himself slipping right back into his old, comfortable routines. Why does that happen? And more importantly, how do we fix it? Well, today, we are going to visually map out exactly how he can flip the script on his life, pulling insights directly from the source material we're analyzing. Get ready, because the way you look at your own daily routine is about to completely change. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually stopped to notice which shoe you tie first in the morning? No, seriously, it's a real question. For our main character, Alex, it is always the right shoe every single morning. But if you were to just walk up and ask him which one he ties first, he probably wouldn't even be able to tell you. He just does it. And you know what? That is exactly how so much of our daily lives operate. We are running on this deeply ingrained set of scripts that we don't even realize are playing out in the background. You see, by the time we reach adulthood, our habits have essentially become invisible. There are all these little things we do totally on autopilot. Think about it. Maybe it's unplugging the toaster the literal second your bagel pops up, or automatically swapping your work clothes for sweatpants the moment you walk through the front door. For Alex, these actions are so deeply hardwired into his mental programming that the urge to do them feels like it comes out of nowhere. He just slips into these patterns without giving them a second thought. Our habits totally run our lives, but they're basically hiding in plain sight. To show you just how powerful this invisible autopilot really is, the source material shares this wild anecdote. So there was this man who had spent years working as a lifeguard. Over time, his brain was completely trained to respond to very specific visual cues. Well, long after he switched to a totally different career, he still had this deeply encoded response. If he saw a child running, anywhere, not just at a pool, he would automatically yell, "Walk," out loud. It just popped out of him, no way to stop it. His habit was completely automatic, sparked by a cue he wasn't even consciously looking for anymore.
And it brings us directly to Chapter 4 of the groundbreaking book we're breaking down today, Atomic Habits by James Clear. The text points out a really fundamental truth here. Before we can effectively build new, better habits, we actually need to get a handle on our current ones. It makes sense, right? You can't change what you don't even notice. If Alex wants to stop mindlessly snacking or scrolling on his phone for hours, he first has to drag those invisible habits out into the light. Awareness absolutely has to come before the desire for change. So, what does this all mean?
Well, the crucial point is this. The first law of behavior change is to make it obvious. Our behaviors are triggered by cues in our environment, but over time, those cues become so incredibly common that they're basically invisible to us, like the TV remote just sitting on the couch or the phone buzzing in our pocket. To actually alter his routine, Alex needs to make the cues for his good habits ridiculously obvious. He needs a concrete plan so his brain knows exactly what to do and exactly when to do it.
Most people, and definitely Alex, try to change their habits using these really vague intentions. They say things like, "Oh, I'm going to eat healthier," or "I'll read more." But our source material highlights a much more powerful formula. It's called an implementation intention. Basically, this is a plan you make ahead of time about exactly when and exactly where you're going to act. The formula is beautifully simple. I will perform this specific behavior at this specific time in this specific location. So instead of Alex just vaguely hoping he'll go work out, he needs to say, "I will exercise for 20 minutes at 6 a.m. in my living room." Boom, crystal clear. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how another strategy takes that whole concept and just supercharges it. It's called habit stacking. Instead of pairing a new habit with a specific time and location, you pair it with a habit you already do every single day without fail. Here's the formula. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. Think about it. You already have behaviors that are deeply wired into your brain, right? Things like taking a shower or pouring your morning coffee. Alex can actually use the momentum of those existing automatic habits to easily trigger entirely new ones. It's brilliant.
To truly understand just how practical and honestly life-changing this is, we're going to map out a chronological day in the life of Alex. We'll follow him through his morning routine, his afternoon at work, and his evening social life. We're going to see exactly how he applies this whole habit stacking formula to completely reprogram his behavior, making his desired changes absolutely obvious and, frankly, almost effortless. Let's get into it.
Let's look at Alex's morning. His first big goal is healthy eating. Using examples straight from the text, Alex creates his first habit stack.
When I serve myself a meal, I will always put veggies on my plate first. Serving the meal is the current habit, adding the veggies is the new habit. Simple. Later on during his morning commute, he targets exercise. His new stack: when I see a set of stairs, I will take them instead of using the elevator. He doesn't have to stress about getting more cardio in. The visual cue of the stairs makes the new habit obvious and completely automatic.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the strategy scales across totally different areas of your life. Okay, so it's afternoon and Alex is feeling pretty stressed at work. To boost his mood, he sets this rule. When the phone rings, I will take one deep breath and smile before answering. That ringing phone, an existing, completely unavoidable cue, now triggers a tiny moment of calm. Then, during lunch, he gets tempted to do some online shopping. To protect his wallet, he stacks this habit. When I want to buy something over $100, I will wait 24 hours before purchasing. He just attached a powerful financial safeguard right onto his existing urge to shop.
As the day winds down, Alex heads out for the evening. He really wants to work on his social skills, which, let's be honest, can be super intimidating. But his habit stack makes it so simple. When I walk into a party, I will introduce myself to someone I don't know yet. The physical act of walking through the door is the trigger. Love that. Finally, at the end of the night, to combat his bad habit of losing his keys and phone, he uses this stack. When I leave a public place, I will check the table and chairs to make sure I don't leave anything behind. Standing up to leave instantly reminds them to look back. Finally, we have this fantastic overarching rule Alex applies to his life, designed for minimalism. The rule is simply one in, one out. The specific stack goes like this. When I buy a new item, I will give something away. This just proves the incredible versatility of the first law of behavior change. By linking a new, desired behavior directly to something you're already doing anyway, you completely eliminate the guesswork. The cue is always right there waiting for you, making the right choice completely obvious.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn the spotlight over to you. What is your very next habit stack going to be? The absolute beauty of this system is that you already have dozens, if not hundreds, of reliable habits you perform every single day without even thinking. Tying your shoes, drinking your coffee, getting into your car. Your challenge right now is to put the first law of behavior change into action. Find a current habit, pick a tiny new habit you want to build, and stack them together. Make it obvious. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to see what habits you build next.